What if your own reason seemed to contradict the Qur'an? Which would you follow, reason or revelation? More than 1,000 years ago, Muslim scholars answered this question in completely different ways. One debate changed Islamic theology forever.
Compare the use of rationalism by Mu'tazila, with one other Islamic school of thought which you have studied. So, we have multiple schools in theology, so like Ashari, right, and Mu'tazila, and the bigger strand, is the al-Sunnah. So within al-Sunnah, there are some, Ashari, and there are some Salafiyya. Got it? Yeah. Some call them Athariya, Ahlul Athar. Compare the rationalism within two schools. One must be Mu'tazila, and second could be anyone. This is about the basis, what is the primary thing, in our interpretation. So according to Mu'tazila, the primary thing, is the aql. So we should give preference to the aql, and through aql, we interpret the naql. Naql means the Qur'an and Sunnah. Got it? Everything that contradicts aql, we interpret it. We do ta'wil. We don't submit, we do ta'wil of hadith and do ta'wil of Quranic verse. Got it? So the ultimate source of knowledge is aql, not the naql. Got it? Yeah, that is the bottom line, you can say. On the other hand, the Ashari and the Salafiyya and all of the other, al-Sunnah sects, they says that the primary preference is to the naql, the kitab and sunnah, and aql only is a tool to interpret the, kitab and sunnah. It is only to defend kitab and sunnah, not to define kitab and sunnah. That is the bottom line. Okay? Yeah. So all this, all this discussion is called rationalism. Rationalism. What is rationalism? Rationalism is, in Islamic theology, is the reliance on human reasoning. Reliance mean we just rely upon, the human reasoning, and mean his logical argument. The logical argument, relying upon it, is called rationalism. About what? About understanding the God and his laws. Rationalism in general, we are not talking about that. So science is all rationalism, right? Everything, the human reasoning, we reason, we think, we reflect upon things, their characteristics, and how they, come together and produce a result, produce a, thing. So that is science. That is experimental science. So also there is also rationalism is involved here, because we ponder upon things, upon their characteristics. But here in theology, rationalism, it refers to the rationalism which is narrowed down to the God's existence, the understanding of God, his existence, his characteristics, and his laws. We are talking about this rationalism. Got it? Every sect, including Mu'tazila, including Ashari and the Asariya, Salafiyya, all sects, they give, rationalism, they rely upon it. To some degree, everyone, utilize the reason, the intellect. Without, intellect, that is the only thing that that differentiate the human beings from the other creatures. So how can we, give up the rationalism? Rationalism is there, we use it, but the degree of using it, it may differ, from sect to sect. So like I said, the Mu'tazila, they give, the higher preference to the rationalism. So according to them, aql is the sole source. It is the main source, primary source of learning the things, knowing the things. That is the primary source. But to other sects, it is not the primary, it is the secondary source. Got it? So Mu'tazila were known as rationalists. So like I said, they were the Ahlul Adl, wa Tawheed. They call them Ahlul Adl wa Tawheed. And Adl, what is Adl? It is all based on the rational approach, based on the reasoning.
This debate didn't end here. It shaped how Muslims understand Allah himself. We'll explore one of the most controversial questions in Islamic theology. Subscribe and don't miss it.